Currently, I'm crippled, so I can't really work on anything. I'm out for 4 months. I had reconstructive surgery on my hip. So I'm pretty much done racing for the year, and I'm done working on stuff for the year. So like I said, I'm out 4 months. So pretty much now, I guess the rest of my videos for a while are gonna be like theory, I guess, and like just the little stuff that I still can do. So hopefully you stick around. Maybe you guys will like and subscribe, and then I can start making money off YouTube. And then I can be crippled, still have a job. So right here, this is a 392 Hemi. This is kind of thrown together. I've done a video on it. I picked it up super cheap, like 1,500 bucks, and then it wasn't what it was supposed to be. So then the guy sent me some money back, so I think I got 750 bucks into this block, or this long block, and it came with PSI or pack, I think PSI springs for this one. So I got good PSI springs. The heads were destroyed. This is another set of heads I had. These are 392 heads off a car, so they flow the best. I think they're 320, 340. I'll look it up and put the actual number in. So they outflow any small block head that you're gonna buy, like off the shelf or anything. I'm not sure what people are getting out of the W9s, like Brett Miller. He's got some super serious W7, W9 stuff. I don't know what his flow numbers are, but these are cheap. They're everywhere. They're still made. They're still putting the 392s in the trucks, so you can still get those heads. These heads are everywhere. You can buy a brand new long block from HHP. It's an MDS long block, so it has the lifters that collapse, but if you got another Hemi laying around, or you find a 5.7 off marketplace that has a collapsed lifter or something, you can mix and match. You can do it super cheap, and as long as the roller lifters are still working, they're probably good ones. But yeah, it's $3 grand for a long block. That makes 475 stock, tuned with EFI and all that stuff. So, I mean, how much money are you gonna spend on a small block to get 475? And that's just stock. So hopefully we get a little more with this intake. So this intake is the shorter height one. They make another one that's taller. I think it's like an inch or two taller. And this is just a 750 double pumper that I got thrown up there because it looks cool. Just wanted the complete visual for you guys. But yeah, these intakes are 700 new. I just got this for 600 used. Guy, 600 bucks shipped to my door. So pretty sweet on that. And this is something I've always wanted. I've always wanted a carbureted Hemi. Even when they came out with the distributor kit, I wanted one of those. But so when they went to the VVT blocks, this is a VVT, and so you tell it's a VVT block. It has VVT solenoid on the back here. So if you have one with the intake off, you can see that's how you can identify it pretty easily. And then it has this monstrosity. All this stuff moves and stuff like that. This one has a lock in it, or a limiter, I can't remember. I know I'm gonna lock it. I should have just locked it from the get-go. But so we're gonna do that, and that's a VVT. So they don't make the distributor kit for the VVT, because a lot of people, they tell me, they're like, oh, they do make a distributor kit for the Gen 3 Hemi. They do, but it's for the early ones, and they don't make it anymore. They haven't made it in a long time. They pop up for sale every now and then. Some of the websites still list them, but you cannot get them. Trust me, I've looked into it. I want one really bad, but it's not really on the cards for me, because I already have I have two 392s, so I don't want to go find a 6.1. And people want a lot of money for 6.1 blocks. Like a bare 6.1 block was like 1,500, $2 grand. Not paying that. That's dumb. I can get a complete long block, $3 grand, and these heads flow way better. There's way more cam options for this. If you go back to just a couple videos ago, I did a cam install on a 392 charger. It had just a fresh long block from Chrysler. Had a ported intake, just a factory plastic ported intake, and it had a cam from MMX in it. And it made just under 500 to the wheels. So it's already over that with, and it's tuned obviously, it's already over that with a cam. The cam's 500 bucks, and a new set of lifters 500 bucks if you didn't want to miss a match. So you got 1,000 bucks into it. So you're at $4 grand for this, 4,700, and then carburetor, you probably have one laying around. Obviously you have to get the front accessories and stuff. You go to the junkyard, spend an hour, spend 100 bucks at the junkyard. Not a big deal. But I mean, that's probably 570, 580 at the crank. $4,700, you know? I mean, obviously you're gonna have more money into it. You gotta get springs, this and that. Everything adds up. But you're gonna be right under 600 for under 10 grand. There's no possible way you can do that with a small block unless you saved up or like got a deal here over the years, this and that. You're not gonna get a small block for 600 horse at 10,000. There's no way. Not to mention, this is going to live way longer. This is a deep skirted block. It's got cross bolted mains. I mean, the architecture of the Hemi is way better than the small block. The heads flow outrageous. I mean, the platform versus platform, it's so dumb that you have to run the small block. I mean, I know no one's really going out there and like demonstrating like how cheap it is for the Hemi. I want to run this in USRA. It doesn't quite fit the rules. Because basically the ignition system is what screws it. I don't think they say anything about dual spark plugs. Not that that really matters. You could put a plug in there if you really want to run one. I don't think it'd hurt it that bad. But it's the coils that's what's going to affect it. MMX makes, I believe it's like a micro squirt, but it's already got a harness on it for a 392, or the early Hemi and the later Hemi. They have different reluctor wheel counts. I believe the cam sensor's the same on them throughout all the years, I want to say. Don't hold me to that. But the crank sensors are different. I think it's like 39 and 54 or something. The later ones are 54. So MMX makes a little micro squirt that goes on there. It's $850. So that's another thing you'd have to buy. But I mean, how much is a good distributor now, an ignition system, to buy for a small block? So I mean, I'm sure it's right around there. Like for a sport mod, we have to run an HEI distributor, and it's like $580 for plug wires and stuff in the distributor. That was from like Davis. So super expensive for that, just for a HEI distributor, which looks stupid, big and bulky, ugly things, Chevy junk. But it's what we have to run per the rules. Back on the Hemi, back on the King here. So yeah, that's the only way. It doesn't really fit in the rules. I mean, and that's kind of why I'm trying to go over this, is like get more people involved in it. More people showing it to their tech guys and the people producing these rules, and show like this is an affordable package to make a ton of horsepower. I mean, these heads flow better than the LS heads. Like I know Dirt Sanction up in the Northeast, I've been looking at doing a small block for my brother, and like just to buy the parts, it's going to be over 10 grand just to do the small block, and that's without having the block or anything, and that's with the Brodex spec heads. So and they flow like, I think it was 270 on the intake, and these flow 340. So obviously you're gonna make way more horsepower with this. Rock solid bottom end. The oiling system, I don't know. They say the lifters fail because of the oiling system, but or the way it oils. I don't know how it will do in high RPM. Every Hemi I've pulled apart, the bearings look awesome. They look brand new. I pulled them apart with 200,000 on them. Multiple ones, and they always look great. If you pull apart a 360 with 200,000 on it, it's going to be, the copper is going to be showing. It's without a doubt. If it's not, someone's replacing it. Even on the Magnums, where the fueling is more correct and the oil doesn't get as diluted as a carbureted one, the rod bearings look like garbage. 318s are a little better. Actually, 318s are quite a bit better, it seems. But yeah. So these things always look awesome. This thing has stock bearings. So this has stock rod, stock piston, everything's stock. This even has a stock cam in it. I am going to change that. I'm going to do that cam that was in that yellow Charger. I'm a dealer for MMX, so I can get things a little bit cheaper. So if you want to buy some stuff off me, help me out. I'll get you hooked up, I promise. But yeah, I mean, I just think more people need to get on board with this, and we need to talk to rule makers like USRA. IMCA's a lost hope. You still got to run steel heads. You can't even run shaft mounted LA heads in IMCA modified. So IMCA's out the window. But USRA, be cool to get them on board. They pretty much, there's an option for like run what you brung, but it doesn't fall right in the ignition system rules, like I was saying. So that's kind of what makes it illegal. But I mean, I'm sure if I call them and talk to them, maybe I could get it amended for next year. Definitely won't have the money for a modified next year. So if someone's in like Texas, Oklahoma area and wants to get with me, and we can work something out, like where I sponsor an engine. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'd like to do that. But it's gonna have to be an A mod through USRA, or like, I haven't really looked into a lot of the other rules, but it's either IMCA or USRA, and then there's that Tom's Touring, which I don't want to drive all over and watch. So I'd much rather be someone in Texas, Oklahoma area. But I'd like to do some R&D on it. I think it'd be fun. I just want to see how the oiling system holds up and where we can take them to RPM wise and stuff like that. Try out different intakes. I mean, there's no water through these intakes, so you can change them out at the track between your heat race and that. Doesn't make a mess, you know. Like it's a cool platform. It's much easier. It's already got serpentine belt, so you don't got to spend a ton of money on like a KRC setup, you know. I mean, you would have to run pretty much every circle track rule I've ever seen. You have to run a mechanical fuel pump, so we'd have to drive it off the crank. So we would have to add an extra pulley or something like that, or find a pulley and work it into the serpentine system. But I mean, yeah, like I said, if someone's in that area that wants to do an A mod, I'd definitely be willing to give this up to someone to get it out there. And I mean, yeah, I'd pay for all the motor stuff. You're gonna have to figure out like bell housing and stuff. I know Burt makes a small block Mopar bell housing. I don't know if anyone else does. I just know Burt does. So yeah, get a Burt, it'll be easy. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll talk more about it. You can ask questions in the comments. I can show you more about these things. I can tear this all back down if you want, but I have a video of me putting it together. But yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned with me, even though I'm crippled. We'll get some stuff done, so it makes it interesting. But thanks for watching. And remember, only pussies wear bow ties.